My name's Eric Oakley, PDGA number 53565. I call home wherever we park it, but Dallas, Fort Worth, and Salt Lake City are really dear to my heart, so definitely like to represent those guys. Honestly, that happened recently, and it has helped immensely. And I've always talked about not having expectations when on the course, but it still is really easy to do that. I had good conversations with some professionals, Michael Joe, Peter McBride, and Paul Oman, even Nate Perkins. And we discussed about how you manage your emotions while you're on the course. And trusting in your ability goes a long way. Just believing in yourself allows you to not stress and not get worked up over, oh, what's my lie gonna look like? You're fine. No matter what your lie is, no matter what's going on, your ability as a player will be able to get you out of that situation, and you'll be able to give yourself the best score you possibly can. And in some situations, that's take a bogey, go on to the next hole, because you definitely have the ability to pick up birdies on the next holes. So staying even more positive was the key. Saying more positive things to myself and trusting in my ability. If you look at those guys when they play, very even-keeled emotions. Now, I'm still a little bit ups and downs and happies and a little bit sads, but I let those be quick, and then we get back to that even-keeled. So it has helped a lot. It was probably one of the biggest factors at USDGC qualifying, the Monday qualifying, where I stayed calm, stayed positive, stayed even, and was able to get myself qualified, which was, mental game was probably 95% of why it happened. The Felon, followed by the Enforcer, but I think I throw the Felon for more forehands, for straight shots, to hyzer shots, flex shots. I carry about 6 Felons at a time, so they are obviously not all the same. They're very, very different, where I have one that's more overstable, to one that's overstable but it has a straight flight for the majority of it, and then one that's very straight, one that turns a little bit more, and then one that turns a lot. So it's just one of those discs that definitely fits my gameplay and fits my style, and love the feel of it in the hand. And I think honestly is the disc that I would throw if I only had one disc to throw for an entire round. It'd be the disc. I'd putt with it, but that's not smart. Mine would be a little bit harder, because you have to bleach it and then get it there. But that I would do it if there was a bet, or the price is right, or something like that. It'd be really fun to to match and do. I mean, Tina does some great things with her hair.
I've seen you matched outfits before. So.
We have. I think that would be next level. Maybe. Well, that would be a fun one to try out. Honestly, just you're trying to just iron out your game and fixing things that you struggled with throughout the year, because everybody, if you've played enough tournaments, you have things that stuck out as points to work on. And for me, a lot of it was mental game, but now this off season is building consistency. So being consistent on my angles. So sometimes when I try and throw harder, I'm not missing those angles. So I have to figure out what is the speed I want to be at to hit those angles. So always try and not fix your flaws. It's just iron out your game to where you don't make as many mistakes, because you're just consistent as much as possible. Take the leap, play an open. You'll learn and challenge yourself. If you have the opportunity to play with open players in casual rounds, and maybe even some league rounds that there's a little less stress, do so. Learn from them and take it in. Watch videos as well. I think that's one of the biggest things you can do. Yes, if you don't know the course, you're not necessarily seeing exactly what's going on in their head, but you start to see players' thought processing. You'd see, you'll see Eagle and Ricky and Paul, they'll lay up a 60-footer sometimes. And a lot of younger players don't make that decision. They see them constantly making these 60-footers, so they think they have to run these 60-footers. There are plenty of times where take a par, par's good, move to the next hole, and you can learn a lot from that. Honestly, I can't think of anything. I break a lot of things, and mess things up, so I can't really get away with it now because it happens so often. Tina knows I broke something, and she just is frustrated because she's probably gonna have to fix it, because if I were to try and fix it, I'd probably break it again. Consistency when it comes to putting, especially outside the circle putting, but I'm not necessarily going out and practicing that. It's really just feeling comfortable in my release and my timing of my body working together. And overall consistency, like when I said a little bit earlier, was understanding if I'm hitting the exact angle I want with the exact power I want. And so I'm not ever overthrowing or underthrowing. I'm hitting a good smooth line, and I'm really understanding how my discs are gonna work and keep me in the fairways and get me the birdies I need. Meeting people. Honestly, we meet some incredible humans as we're out there. There are people that are working so hard that aren't recognized in the sport for all the hard work that they do, and it's really cool to see people who have that same passion, but they may not have the luxury to travel or have chosen not to, but they're still as into the sport and doing everything they can for the sport in their local scenes, which is awesome. So meeting the people for sure. Long drives, not accurate shots, the long hauls that we have to make when you have a double-digit drive in hours ahead of you. You know that your body just does this thing where you just just shrivel up after a long drive, and to stretch it out takes days sometimes. So even yesterday we went out and played after a long drive in from Nashville, and I could tell my body, like I'd go to throw a shot and my body's no, stop, no. It told me immediately. But with that, it's, you know that you're gonna get to a beautiful place, and sometimes places we've never been to, which is amazing, so. Honestly, that's dependent completely on how I feel about the hole. If I understand that there is one shot for the hole, I might throw 1 or 2 shots just to make sure I understand where I want the disc to come out, where I want the disc to hit the ground, and things like that. Now, if there are multiple ways to access the hole, that gets me up to about 3 to 4 shots on the hole, just to figure out which one works and which one doesn't. And that also comes to consistency of what I'm throwing on the day. So if my sidearm is a little off, I'm pulling it or something like that, I know I can trust my backhand on the same type of hole that I can still access a birdie opportunity. So finding a way to be comfortable when you go into the course. So you never questioning what you're gonna throw, but having extra tools if you need to, because again, sometimes things just get a little bit off, your timing's off, you slept a little wrong, it happens, and being able to adjust on the fly to stay with your strengths is really, really important. So one of my favorite animals is a zebra, but I don't know if I'd want to be a zebra because, they're cool, but simply because of a team that I follow in soccer, Juventus in Italy, and they're black and white, they're bianconeri, so they tend to be the zebras. And if I had to be an animal, I think I'd want to be like an eagle or a hawk or something, just because like the whole thought of flight seems pretty cool. I mean, just to understand their perspective and be able to fly around, and I mean, you get to prey on stuff. It seems interesting. I don't prey on any animals in my own life, but if I'm in another life, let's try something new.